Recording in progress.
What's going on, guys? FrenchFit back here with another video. Today I wanted to make a little bit more of an informational presentation on cholesterol. Now, if you're like me and you're interested in nutrition, fitness, stuff like that, you've probably heard about cholesterol. It's been kind of demonized, villainized in the past. I remember whenever me and my dad would go to IHOP and I would order an omelet with like whole eggs, my dad would be like, "Oh, it's a lot of cholesterol," and I would just be like, "Oh, is that bad?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's clogs your arteries," stuff like that. And I was like, well, it tastes good, so it must not be that bad for me. You know, I always thought eggs were healthy. But up until I took this nutrition class and did a little bit more research on my own, I didn't really know what cholesterol was, what its effect was on your body, and you know, if it was good or bad or indifferent. So today I want to make a little bit of a presentation, hopefully clear the air in a simple, a way that's easy to understand. So let's get into it. So cholesterol. What is cholesterol? Cholesterol is a sterol, which is a type of fat. Sterols are found in plants and animals, but mostly abundant in animal sources like eggs, meat, poultry, dairy, stuff like that. Those are the sterols that are going to really contain the most cholesterol. And cholesterol actually has a lot of important functions within our body, such as helping produce and regulate hormones like cortisol, which is your stress hormone, testosterone, estrogen, which are obviously the reproductive hormones for both male and female, and helps fat soluble vitamins, which you see ADEC on the screen. Vitamins A, D, E, and K are your fat soluble vitamins, and vitamins, the B vitamins and vitamin C are your water soluble vitamins. So obviously fat soluble, you need fat to be able to absorb all these vitamins. So cholesterol is a type of fat. It's going to help you absorb A, D, E, and K. Also has other purposes such as helping regulate energy and metabolism, so pretty important if you ask me. So if you've heard about cholesterol, you've probably heard that there is good and bad cholesterol, so to say. Now, I would say this is true for the most part, but these are actually, what you see on the screen here, these are lipoproteins, which basically lipo means fat, proteins, obviously protein. So these four are the main ones. The main ones you've probably heard about are the HDL and the LDL. LDL, low density lipoprotein, the bad cholesterol, so to say, and the HDL, which is the high density lipoprotein, good cholesterol. And then you also have VLDL, which is very low density lipoprotein, which VLDL eventually converts to LDL, and then your chylomicrons, which are the least dense of the lipoproteins. So what do we mean by density of the lipoproteins? What we mean by that is basically the ratio of fat to protein. So you see on the left here, the chylomicrons are almost entirely made up of triglycerides, which is another word for fat. Has a little bit of phospholipids, another type of fat, cholesterol, fat, and very little protein. So obviously they're very low density. VLDL, also pretty low density. It's about half triglycerides, a little bit of protein, and some cholesterol and phospholipids. LDL contains the most cholesterol, which is why it's probably the bad cholesterol to many people. And then HDL has the most amount of protein. It's about half protein, a little bit of cholesterol, very little triglycerides, and some phospholipids, which makes it a little more healthy because it has less cholesterol in it. It has less fats, more protein. So one thing that I was very shocked at when I took my nutrition class was that I found out that your liver actually produces cholesterol naturally. So we're here worried about, consuming, only a few hundred milligrams of cholesterol a day, when in reality, our liver is making between 800 and 1500 milligrams of cholesterol each and every day, depending on how much we consume through our diet. So if you consume a lot of cholesterol through your diet, your liver's probably going to adjust to make a little bit less, whereas if you're limiting your cholesterol, your liver's probably going to make up for that and get up more on that high end of that 1500 milligrams. So exogenous cholesterol, obviously the cholesterol you eat from food. Again, eggs, meat, dairy, those are probably going to be the main sources of cholesterol. I know I eat eggs every day. I know they have cholesterol in them. So that was something that's really interesting to me. So for me, that's a telltale sign that if your body produces it naturally, it's definitely a very important factor to being a healthy individual. Like, if your body produces it, we need it. Now, this is where cholesterol can become harmful to the body, and that's when cholesterol, particularly LDL cholesterol in particular, it gets oxidized. Now, this is caused by free radicals oftentimes, which free radicals are basically, you find them a lot in fried foods. It's basically when an odd number of electrons, so I'm not a big chemistry guy, but electrons, they like to be in pairs. They're very stable that way. Now, when they're broken off, there's an uneven number, so you say you have, instead of 2, 1 breaks off, it's very unstable. They can cause a lot of adverse reactions within your body, and they can be very bad. It can lead to inflammation in the body, a lot of oxidative stress. That's a fancy term that gets thrown around a lot when people talk about, processed foods, fried foods, cholesterol, stuff like that. And a lot of times this happens through a process called glycation. And glycation, from what I understand, is basically when you consume a lot of sugar and the sugars kind of grab onto the proteins, and that oxidizes that cholesterol. And you see this picture right here, healthy atoms, there's 2 of them, free radicals here, one of them's gone, and then antioxidants are going to help you, if you have a good balance of free radicals and antioxidants, if you have more antioxidants, which those are going to come from fruits and vegetables mainly, you can kind of counteract that bad effect. So that's when it can be bad. I think the main thing a lot of people are worried about with cholesterol is heart issues, like plaque buildup in your arteries, atherosclerosis, heart disease, stuff like that. And that's a very real risk you take when you're consuming a lot of these like processed foods, deep fat fried stuff where you're going to get those free radicals and potentially get that oxidized LDL. Now, when we talk about the HDL, the good cholesterol, eggs have a lot of good cholesterol in them. That's why I have never been afraid to eat a lot of eggs, and you shouldn't either. My teacher always would go crazy when she'd see people eating egg whites or talk about egg whites, and I kind of felt bad because at one point in time I was like, oh, the egg yolk is bad. No, it's not bad, guys. You're wasting your money on egg whites. All the nutritious stuff, the nutrition, the vitamins, the minerals, all that good stuff is in the yolk, so eat whole eggs. Now, HDL protein, I'm taking this straight from the book, so don't sue me. So, the liver makes HDL cholesterol to remove cholesterol from the cells and carry it back to the liver for recycling or disposal. By efficiently clearing cholesterol, HDL helps prevent plaque buildup, thereby lowering the risk of heart disease. In addition, HDL has anti-inflammatory properties. It's a good thing. That seem to help keep artery clogging plaque from breaking apart and causing heart attacks. So, HDL cholesterol is very important. It's going to clear that stuff up. So, some prevention for the oxidized LDL, you're going to want to eat plenty of antioxidants, fruits and vegetables, no surprise. You guys know that that's a healthy thing to do. Fat-soluble vitamins as well. Limiting processed foods, limiting deep fat fried foods, stuff that you obviously know is not good for you. Not saying you can never have it, but enjoying that stuff in moderation. And some sources of cholesterol, the things I eat every day, eggs, ate steak once in a while. I'm not a big organ meat person. I guess I've never really tried it, but did a little bit of research online, and organ meats are thought to be pretty healthy by most people. And then the bad, obviously, fried foods, processed meats, stuff like that. I mean, we can go into all this very complicated stuff of why this stuff's bad for you, but at the end of the day, nutrition can be simple if you make it. Fruits and vegetables are good for you. Lean proteins, good for you. Whole grains, good for you. Fried and processed foods, not as good for you. Added sugar, not as good for you. You follow those simple, sugar sweetened beverages, not good for you. Water, good for you. If you just follow those simple guidelines that we've all been taught as kids, you're probably going to be pretty well off. So those are some of the sources I use, not if you guys care, but hopefully you got a little bit of information out of this. Cholesterol is something that I thought this was a pretty interesting topic to cover. Let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in future videos. If you did enjoy the video or learned something from it, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, French_fit40, post a good amount of fitness related content there. Also check out my website, christianfrenchfitness.com. That's also linked in my Instagram bio. Been posting a few fitness related articles there, and yeah, stay tuned for more content, guys. Peace.